The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Another game between the Knicks and the Pistons that goes right down to the wire. Karl-Anthony Towns in the fourth quarter for 3, but Kade Cunningham rose to the occasion in the fourth quarter with 13 of his 24, and the Pistons prevail 106-103 to force a Game 6 Thursday night in Detroit. There's a Game 7. It's back here in New York on Saturday. Great to have you with us, Bill Pito, along with Wally Zerbiak. So we talked about the importance of tonight. Another tight game. Whistles, it seems, like on every single possession. Knicks have to go back to Detroit. And remember, if there's a Game 7, the Knicks against the Pistons in this building are 1-4. Detroit this season, including the regular season, has won 4 of its 5 games.
Yeah, the Knicks are not instilling any fear in the Detroit Pistons. They came in here and they dominated this game pretty much finish. From the opening tip, the Knicks did not look like they were ready to close this series out. The possessions offensively, they're not moving the ball the way they should. They're not getting to the spots, and they're not putting the Pistons on their heels. The Pistons dictated the aggressive level, I think, on both ends of the floor the whole entire game. Now, the Knicks are a very good team, so they found a way to keep it close. Mitchell Robinson was very good. But the tone of this game was totally Pistons basketball the whole entire time. And you don't want to be messing with this team. I'm telling you, you do not want to be messing with this team. This team believes that they are going to come back from a 3-1 deficit and beat the New York Knicks.
Jalen Brunson, an off night, only 4 of 16. I mentioned Kade Cunningham, best player on the floor in the fourth quarter with 13 points. And also really important, with about 3 minutes to go, Hart and Brunson both shaken up on the same possession, down 2. They couldn't get into the game for another 2 minutes and change, and that really hurt the Knicks on offense down the stretch.
No excuses. Whoever was out there on the floor, you have to execute. You got Karl-Anthony Towns out there. You got Mikal Bridges, who had 13 points in the fourth quarter. You got to figure out a way to win this basketball game at home. It's the bottom line. I mean, you got to figure out at home to get a killer instinct to close this team out and win this series in 5. Now you gave this team a lot of life. You're going into a hornet's nest in Detroit. It is going to be bananas playing against this team now that they got this win today. But the Knicks got to figure it out. They're still of a 3-2 lead, but they're making it really tough on themselves.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights from this contest. Again, the third quarter hurt the Knicks. It's been the case throughout the series. They just couldn't make it up in the fourth quarter. Jalen Duren was a force down low most of the night. Well, Jalen Brunson had that miracle as they tried to get back from a 10-point deficit, and they were able to bring it in pretty close. Malik Beasley, though, with a bucket there, and then the Knicks here. Bridges had a big fourth quarter with 13 points.
He did. That was reviewed twice. They thought it was a 2-pointer. Then it turned out to be a 3-pointer. That was a big 3-pointer there. But overall, you know, Kade Cunningham just didn't have a good game, but he figured out a way to hang in there. Karl-Anthony Towns ties the game up with that big 3. But then Kade Cunningham just getting into the paint. Josh Hart gets undercut, lands awkwardly, hurt his wrist, and on that play, Brunson tweaked his ankle. And then Morris Thompson, a career-high 22 points. Knicks made some heroic shots. Mikal Bridges first from the right corner, then Anunoby. And then McBride's got to make the first. He doesn't make the first, so he's got to miss the second. And that's ball game. And Dennis Schroeder again. That guy is a real pain in the Knicks behind. He had another big-time performance. Not scared of the moment, and the Pistons got a big win.
Look at the free throw shooting, Wally. The Knicks missed 11. Detroit missed 10. Knicks lose by 3. That's a huge number there, missing 11 free throws. You see everything else pretty close. Points off turnovers. Knicks got 19, Detroit 12. Bench points, 26 for the Pistons. Mitchell Robinson, excellent for the Knicks off the bench, but the Knicks outscored off the bench. Kade Cunningham only had 11 points through 3 quarters of play. What happened in the fourth quarter to get him 13 of his 24?
They were just aggressive. And listen, this series is coming down to Kade Cunningham and Jalen Brunson. Who's going to finish? And Kade Cunningham was healthy in this game. Brunson looks a little bit banged up. He tweaked his ankle again. And Kade Cunningham just getting whatever he wanted in that fourth quarter. Thought he made great decisions. We saw that play off the transition. We saw Brunson do that in the game 5. Game 4, and then we look at Kade Cunningham just knocking down shots all over the place. He's going to start making his threes, too. He hasn't shot the 3-ball well. If he starts coming off those screens and trusting that 3-point shot, that's going to be a big problem for the Knicks, too. because that guy is really, really good. I think the Knicks have done a good job on him defensively overall, but the Knicks have to play really, really tight, quality, high-performance basketball if they want to beat this team and close this team out.
Karl-Anthony Towns, a lot of foul trouble tonight, kind of cut into his numbers. But Mitchell Robinson, tremendous off the Knicks bench. We showed you the Knicks have 19 points off the bench. Robinson had 13 of those, also 11 rebounds, and a season-high 8 offensive rebounds. Mitchell Robinson was excellent.
He was excellent. He neutralizes Jalen Duren and that big body down low. He was all over the glass. Loved the quickness that he showed defensively. I think the team was really good. Now, it's going to take some time to kind of just, when he's out there, get comfortable with him out there. Because, coming back from that injury in such big moments, with him and Towns out there on the floor, they looked a little clunky. They got to figure out how the offense is going to run. But the effort is certainly there for Mitchell Robinson and for the Knicks overall. I mean, Josh Hart, what a heroic effort by him. He was all over the place getting every loose ball, a la Mitchell Robinson getting every loose rebound. That was an outstanding performance by him. Those two guys, I'll tell you, they came to close this series out. There are some other guys that just didn't have it tonight. And unfortunately, it led to the Pistons pulling off a huge win. And it's going to be dicey in Detroit. It's going to be dicey in Detroit.
So through 5 games here, the Knicks are up 3-2, and they've outscored the Pistons by a total of 5 points. That's how close
this series is. And that's how good the Pistons are. This team is good. This team defensively, they are all over the Knicks. It's almost like they know exactly what the Knicks are running. I mean, they don't give the Knicks
Are they more athletic, would you say?
They're bigger. They're athletic, they're young, they're well coached on the defensive end of the floor, and they really believe that they are coming back to win this series, and that is a scary thought.
I mean, what if the call goes the other way in Game 4?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Knicks be down 3-2.
Listen,
I know you can't go back.
They would not have lost this game. If that call went a different way, I truly believe the Knicks would have played this game differently, and they would have came out and played differently. The Knicks did not play at the level you need to close out a good team in the playoffs when their back is against the wall. They have to learn from tonight at home, and they have to turn it around in Detroit and play at a higher level. All
right, well, let's now say hello to Monica McNutt. Helped call the game on the radio on ESPN New York. Monica, what did you think tonight watching game number 5?
It was too bad that head coach Tom Thibodeau had to use that timeout to get Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart off the floor. Like, that is just, talk about a bounce of bad luck, because then you have one timeout to go, and when Brunson nearly steals the basketball in front of the Knicks bench, he can hold and call the timeout, and that probably plays out the last 5.4 or so a little differently. But all in all, as much as we have admired, appreciated Jalen Brunson for being clutch, I thought this was a big-time game for Kade Cunningham. He had 13 points in the fourth quarter and decided that he was not going to allow his team to lose this ball game. And so now we move on to Game 6.
Monica, what is it that teams, especially Detroit, can come into the world's most famous arena, the Knicks home court, and get wins like this? How are they doing it?
Wally, I think for me, and we said this pregame, one of my keys was Karl-Anthony Towns playing downhill. And I have 2 trains of thought that are sort of competing on this, in that the Knicks have come back from being down in this series, and it has made for masterful fourth quarter finishes. But on the flip side, do you then find a comfort that betrays you in being able to do that? And so I just wonder about the moments at the start of the fourth quarter, even in the third quarter, where you have an opportunity to continue to put the pressure on the Pistons. Meanwhile, Kade Cunningham, as I mentioned, having a terrific game. Malik Beasley finding himself from the three-point line in a way that we had not seen while these teams were competing in Detroit. And Jalen Duren playing with tremendous confidence. And so I think you saw a Pistons team that grew in their confidence possession by possession, looking for, especially Kade, their postseason moment to say that they have arrived of sorts. And so this is a big stage, and guys don't get to the league because they shrink away on big stages.
Monica, you mentioned Jalen Duren. He had a game-high 14 rebounds. Game 6 now back in Detroit on Thursday. What do you think?
This is very reminiscent of the series last year with Philadelphia. On the one hand, I think the Pistons have enough fire and respect about themselves that I'm not totally surprised, but I think for the Knicks to have been as close as they were in the fourth, based on what we've seen, you thought that they would go on to take over. And I already mentioned the timeout for the injuries that you wonder about that. But that place is going to be on fire. They're back to playing physical basketball. The Knicks have to get back to the basketball of Game 3 and Game 4 where they're forcing the issue downhill. And to be this close, guys, in a game in which Jalen Brunson did not have his signature 33 points I think he's averaging in this series, that's a big deal. So there are things you take away from this, and as Karl-Anthony Towns said earlier in the series, that's the nature of a series. You win, you lose, you learn, and then you go ahead and make those adjustments.
Okay, Monica, we'll talk to you on Thursday night from Detroit. Game 6 pregame at 7, game at 7:30.